Hey guys, it's Charlotte here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So I want to talk to my spiritual healers today. A few things really, but who knows? You never know where I'm going to go with these things. So first off though, the thing I've been noticing the most, and it's something that I talked to another girl about this weekend, is sometimes in the when we're stepping into our purpose, when we're finding our place, who we are, we're always so excited to give guidance. I love doing readings. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I truly do. I love it. I love giving the guidance and all of that. But one downfall is what I've noticed. Everybody's ready for advice. Everybody wants guidance. Everybody wants help. And yet, nobody thinks about the person on the other end giving the advice. We go through life healing our own stuff, going through our own challenges, learning how to ascend without guidance. But there comes a point where you're so invisible that all you are is just advice. And you have to recognize when you're being depleted, when you're feeling invisible, when people are overstepping boundaries and not giving back to you as you give to them. Now, with that being said, we are giving without expectation. I'm not giving readings expecting people to give back to me, and nobody should be. You know, if you're giving money to people, you should not be expecting it back. It's just a law, you know? Really, it's like a not a real law, but like I don't fucking know. It's like you have to let go of expectations. At the same time, you have to recognize your boundaries. You have to have some solid people in your life that are there for you to talk to you about your stuff, because we can give advice all we want. But if we have nobody to talk to communicate with, to allow us to go through our own stuff, we're in a constant battle of going through everything alone. Meanwhile, I've had conversations with probably 25 different people this last week in a constant state of giving advice. And then friends as well. You're always giving advice. It's just who you are, a natural counselor. And that's okay. It is, to a point. And so sometimes we get tested in ways of recognizing where people are overstepping their boundaries, where we're not putting up enough walls and we don't have an outlet to speak. So right now, I think it's really important that your voice be heard, and not just through your advice. Truth. Who are you? How do you feel? What is bothering you right now? Because I feel like, because I'm going through it, and I know you guys are always going through the same kind of things as I am, but I'm like kind of just over it right now. I'm loving everybody and I'm giving, but the problem is I'm not taking back. And so, I mean, I have some great spiritual friends that I talk to, and I did have a good talk today, and, you know, got your little cry out and whatever you need to do. We all have our own thing. But you have to find people to communicate with and to have somebody give you the guidance that you need. You know, like I need a Charla around. Like, somebody want to come be a Charla for me? Because sometimes we need that harsh advice. We need that loving, caring, genuine voice to remind us that we aren't alone, that we aren't here to be perfect, that we can't do everything. Okay? So that's my first thing. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about how We have so many young people coming in. It makes me so happy. It's amazing. I wish that when I was 16, I had the resources of spiritual knowledge and information so readily available to me, because I spent so many years of my life lost. I mean, I was 25 before I finally stepped through the door to awakening. I mean, I always felt things, I always knew, and I trusted my intuition, but it wasn't until I was 25 that I finally started getting answers. And so I've had 2 young girls this last week here alone get readings. One girl who'd been following my page for the last 2 years, so she was 14. Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that every generation that comes in from here on out has so much knowledge in front of them, and we're their teachers. We're here to show them the truth. We're here to show them how to heal themselves and get through the darkest part of the awakening process. So, with that, we have to remember and take a step back and remember where we started. Because it's like once you get so deep into your spiritual journey, you kind of forget, right? Like you've been through so much that now, like when you get a lesson, you're like, oh, it's not even a big deal, guys. Like it's just a little bump in the road. Like what's your big, but those little bumps in the road are fucking major when you're first, like, do you remember? Like I remember my spiritual awakening and it was awful. Like it wasn't all like rainbows and sunshines. It was like hell, really. And it wasn't until I went through all that hell that the beauty started to come. And I mean, it still comes and goes in waves, but we have to take a step back, not be so harsh. Whoever's had readings from me, I can be harsh, like in the most loving way. Like I'm like, love you, sorry. But we have to step back from that harshness, step back from that expectation that people are going to be at the same level as us. We're the mentors now, like we've gone through it years, like this is 6 years in the making for me. And I know that a lot of you on here, same thing. So we have to take a step back. We have to be very loving. And this is where there's such a push to get back into that self-love. That's why there's such a push. That's why we feel invisible. That's why we feel unheard. It's because we're not hearing ourselves. We're so busy speaking and doing and thinking, but not stopping to reflect. So right now, the self-love is very important because what, guys? That was the beginning phases. Do you remember when you first met your mentor, whoever gave you your first reading or your first whatever that helped you awaken? It was about learning to love yourself, seeing that you are beautiful. We usually go through so much turmoil in our process to learn how to be a spiritual teacher or a guidance or mentor, whatever, that everything's self-love. Everything starts with self-love. We go through so much stuff that we hate ourselves to such a deep level because it's the only way to fully remove the armor and the fake mask that we're wearing. So everything's based on self-love from the start. We have to go back to that place, remember where we were so that we can properly give the guidance that this new wave of awakening people coming in, we can give proper advice. We can be in a proper state of mind and not too far advanced, like we have to be able to. I love doing readings for people that are very awakened and stuff like that, but I also really, really love giving readings to people that have never had a card reading before. Isn't it the most amazing feeling in the world, knowing that you're the one that starts their whole whatever? I love it. I love just giving that new perspective. So anyways, I'm starting to ramble. But my point is we need to see ourselves so that we're not feeling so invisible. And we also need to really dedicate ourselves to self-love and being that new light for these new people that are awakening right now. It's so important. We have such major things happening this year. to shift the collective. I mean, the world's fucking falling apart, guys. And if we don't wake up and start loving ourselves and getting out of the depression and stop allowing the social conditioning to hold us back, we have to. We have to. There's nothing else we can do at this point. Everything's collapsing. And this is why we chose to be here in the first place. We needed to be here in this point in time because there's so much ascension happening. And you can feel it. Most of us haven't even really grasped how to use this new energy, how to properly utilize it, because it's so fucking deep, guys. It's so deep. And every reading I'm doing is so intense right now because everybody's gone through this ascension. And so it's very deep. We need to utilize this energy and start pushing back to that place where we first started. Remember how dedicated you were? I'm going to start rambling again. I got to stop. Okay, so I hope this helped. I hope it made sense. And I will chat with you guys soon. Take care.